Dave, how's it going?
Going slow, but steady. As you can see here, we have some about 2x6 aluminum studs. What we're doing here is we're taking out a paneling piece about as wide as this opening in the wall. We're going to remove the second stud and the fourth stud here. We're going to put in some 2x4 supports coming out. We're going to about an 8-foot shelf along here that comes out about 14 inches. This way we can set the projectors right here. Shoot them. We're taking the studs out, so we'll be able to shoot across to the other side of the screen. And we're doing this on both sides of the theater.
Okay, great. Well, listen, we're going to go check downstairs, and we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Okay.
Steve, what are you doing here?
Now here, we're measuring. Very important when it comes to cutting. A lot of people get all excited about the cutting part. You know, they don't realize that there's a lot of hard work that goes in before you begin cutting. That's where measuring comes in. I say measure once, cut twice, you know. So what happens if you measure once? You might wind up cutting twice. So in reality, I do the opposite. I measure twice, I cut once. Now what we're doing here, we've already measured for the right side of the theater, and now we're seeing if the left side matches up. Then when we cut the notches in our shelf, we'll be able to just flip the board over and recut. We'll be set. We won't have to have 2 sets of measurements. Measure once, cut twice. Now, just a few minutes ago, you saw my partner Dave struggling with these 2 studs here, which we're going to put the shelf on top of. You know, well, you heard that earlier, so that's what we're doing. We'll be back in a minute. We'll put some shelves up. Might learn a thing or two.
Well, as you can see, we've got our shelves cut out here. Based on our markings, we've cut out spaces to fit into the studs here on the wall. We're going to use these 2x6 supports about as long as the shelf. We're going to attach these to 3 of the studs. We've got about 8 foot of shelf here. We're going to run one of these about every 2.5, 2 3/4 feet. And do that using a regular everyday drill driver. And we got our screws here, and we're ready to get going.
Okay, that sounds great. Listen, we've got a stopped up toilet to take care of, so we'll be back in a few minutes to check on you.
All right.
We've got our boards cut, which you probably already know. We now have our shelf holders up, what I call the shelf holders. And we'll just slide this in here, see if everything fits. And it looks like it will. Now what we're going to do next, put some screws in here to hold it down. And I think we'll be ready to put stuff on our shelves. And that's the most satisfying part of the job, is when you get to get things and you put them up on the shelf, and then they just sit there and you know that they're not going to fall because of the job you did. Oh, you just gotta love this job.
Well, here we are. As you can see, we made our cuts on the other side of the shelf, the right-hand side of the theater. The main difference between this shelf and the other shelf is that this shelf goes on the right-hand side of the theater, whereas the other shelf, it went on the left-hand side of the theater. But basically, they're going to perform the same function, and so therefore they are both called shelves. And this should slide right in here, and it does. And we're just going to put some finishing touches, nail it down to our supports here, and we'll be ready to set some stuff on this side of the theater.
Hey, what is the key to getting it to fit in the first time like that? What?
Well, the thing I've always done, you got to measure twice, cut once. And when you do that, you end up just cutting once, and usually it's gonna slide right in.
There we have it. We're through with our shelf. And as I sit here and reflect on a job well done, I think the key word is preparation. And it just feels really good to have a shelf that'll hold something. From start to finish, this job took us 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. And you can do that at home too. Get prepared. Know your tools. Do your job.
Okay, here we are at Theater 2. What we got, the situation is, down in Theater 1, okay, here we are, we got a situation down at Theater 1 where we're opening in 4 days and we don't have doors down there on one side of the theater. So we found these doors up here, and basically what we're going to do, take these doors off these hinges, carry them down the stairs, and replace the doors down there. We're going to same type of hinges, so all we have to do, hopefully, will be real simple. Just get these off, carry them down, put them back up. See you in a bit.
We seem to run into a snag here. These things that make the door close slowly, you probably don't even pay attention to them. You just take them for granted in your everyday life. Well, we can't do that in our job. We've got to get this cover off here. So sometimes they're a bit tough. You gotta work with it. And that's generally just the best way to do it. Just give it an old college try, and here you have it.
Okay. Okay, we just about got everything in place here. We're going to see if they close okay. This is about probably a 20-minute project. We're going to take lunch after this. Let's see how they close. You might want to adjust the pressure on that one just a little bit. This one's going to close nicely. Oh, look, they fit together. How's that look?
Looks good.
Okay.
Height's good, the margin's good. Good job.
It's a good morning's work.
Alrighty, let's take a look at what Dave's been doing.
Well, I'm just putting some finishing touches on this mural. It's taken me probably the better half of the afternoon to get this down. The key here, you want to have good lighting when you work so you can see the detail, and you want to plan it out. You know, sketch this out on the wall in pencil, and then add the color of the paint with the fine tip brush. You got to use that for the detail. And you can see what can happen, a little fun, have a little fun while you're creating, and this is what it turns out. If you want to take a look around, this is what we've done here today.
Wow. What is the key to your time management in completing such a large task in such a short time?
Well, you want to use your basic colors. You want to have a good design when you start out. You don't want to leave anything to chance. Sketch out your design and just paint it. And you just do it.